Hey guys, so welcome back to your next lesson. So in the previous class, we looked at the first attempt at trying to classify elements, right? It was by uh, the law of triads, right? And it was made by Dobereiner. So we know that it had a lot of laws. So we'll cut to the next attempt over here. All right. So there was another chemist. Okay, his name was Newlands. John Newlands was his name. He's British. So this John Newlands, he tried to propose another form of classifying elements. Okay. So today we're going to be studying about this person and what his attempt was. Okay. Now, so what John Newlands tried to do is he tried to arrange elements in ascending order of atomic weight. Okay. So we can see over here outright key, he's trying to arrange them by weight. So remember in the first attempt, we were looking at properties based on weight, but it was average of first and third should be the second. But over here, he's simply arranging them according to the weights in ascending. Start with the lightest, then you go ahead. Okay. So when he was doing this, what he said was that if you try to arrange it vertically, then there is some sort of a pattern that will happen. Okay, so what he said, he said something like this. So if you draw a table, so I'll put element number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, he said you put the first 7 elements like this, then you go back and repeat the 8th element here. 11, 12, 13, 14. Basically, you're making columns of 7 elements each. Okay. So 19, 20, 21. Then you come back to 22 and so on. Okay. He did this all the way up till 56 elements. Okay. So that is basically 8 rows of this. Okay. 7 8s are 56. Now, what he said is if you arrange like this, then what happens? All of the elements that are present in a horizontal row like this. So he said all of these elements will have similar properties. Okay. He said that after every element, the 7 elements that follow, if you look at the 8th element, okay, so from 1 you jump to 8, from 8 to 15, that is when you'll see same properties coming alive. So similarly, if I see 3, if I go 7 spaces ahead from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so along according to him, every horizontal row will have elements that have the same properties to each other. So element 1, 8, 15, 22, 29, all of this up to I think 49 should be here. Okay, so all of these elements together will have the same properties is what he said. Okay. So we call this as Newland's law of octaves. Okay. So why do we call it an octave? So an octave is something in music. Okay. So if you know music, there are certain musical notes, right? So we have this sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, and sa. I think that's how it goes, right? So if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, These 7 notes are different from each other, but the last one and the first one are the same. This is what is an octave. Okay, in England, and I mean in English music, it's a different note: do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, and do. I think that's their note. So over here also it's pretty much the same. The eighth and the first one will repeat. So he says that this repetition is also there in elements. So according to that, he grouped them according to ascending order of atomic weight, starting with hydrogen, which is the lightest. Then he just kept repeating. So I'm going to show you the table that he made over here. If you can see my screen, here you will see that it starts with hydrogen, then it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, goes back to 8, all that way down. Okay. Now he's actually the first person to try to assign a number to each atom or to each element. Okay. Until now, people didn't. This is not the weight of it. It is a number. Okay. So he said ki all these elements. So fluorine, hydrogen, chlorine, cobalt and nickel, bromine, palladium, iodine, platinum, iridium. He said all of them have the same property. Okay. Now, obviously, there are some issues with this law of octaves. Okay, we'll just discuss these issues for now. So one of the biggest issues that this had was, if you see, he has grouped certain elements that don't actually have the same properties. Okay, if I talk about things like fluorine, chlorine, they both have the same properties. Okay, they are actually have the same properties. Even bromine will have similar properties to fluorine and chlorine, but cobalt and nickel are no way similar to fluorine or chlorine or bromine. Okay, these are metals. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine are all non-metals. So one big problem is in some places the properties were not matched, although he said they were, but they actually were not. Okay, so in certain places like this, even platinum, iridium, palladium, all of them are very different from all of these fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine also. So he put very mismatched properties of elements together. That's the biggest problem over here. Another thing also we can see over here is he has put two elements in the same place, cobalt and nickel. Most of the columns, if you see, it's just one element everywhere, but in certain places he felt the need to just push two different compounds, two different elements together, which is not right. Okay, because they don't really have that sort of lineation and property. So that was the second problem with his table. And the third issue with his table is that if you see, there are only about 56 elements, and we know that there are more than 100, about 118 or something. So at his time, around those many elements were there, but again, as time was progressing, new elements keep getting discovered, right? Those were not, he could not, there was no space for those elements anywhere in this table. Okay, and he just could not accommodate whatever elements that came after this 56. So this was the third major problem with his table. Obviously, because there are some problems, people did not accept this Newland's table. So we do not actually follow this table. So to rectify this, we have like other scientists who made other forms of tables, but there were some this thing. If you see, he's the first person, like I mentioned, the only first person to try to put something, a numbering to each element. This is called like an atomic numbering. Although his numbering is wrong, you'll see that atomic numbering is something that comes ahead. So this is one key point to take away. You also try to put things in ascending order. So that is also something new, which was not done before. So in the next class, we are going to be talking a little bit about what were the next attempts at figuring out what are the problems with this table and how they were fixed in the table that came ahead, right? So every next attempt is better than the previous attempt. So the next attempt is going to be probably covering like some more issues. Okay, so generally what people say is he tried to fit this whole octave thing into the elements by force. He just, like we said, mismatched elements coming together. That is not, he just kind of wanted to put them together even though it doesn't really follow the pattern. So maybe he was just stuck on this one theory so much that he wanted to, put it like that. But that's okay. We're gonna look at the next attempt, which is the one of the most important contributions to chemistry. We'll talk more about in the next class. For now, this is where I'm going to stop, and I am going to see you in the next one. If you have any doubts, questions, please drop them in the comment section below. And thank you very much.